So I'm Kyle Bradshaw, and today we're going to be taking this 1190 Adventure R out into the real world and putting these Mitas E-10 Dakar tires to the test. The E-10 Dakar, which is going to be 60% off-road and only 40% on-road. This E-10 Dakar has a much larger block spacing than most of the other tires in the 50/50 segment. This is looking very much like a kind of a cross between a TKC 80 and maybe the Kenda big block tire. It's got some really neat features and benefits built into the block pattern itself. The thing that I'm noticing here with this tread pattern is the fact that we have alternating lugs here in the center, and then every alternating lug here towards more the side of the tire is going to be split. That's going to allow this actual lug to, on the surface, function as two lugs, so you have lots of stability when you're going into a corner. Another thing you can see here are these side lugs here are tapered. That's going to help us get extra bite here on the sidewall. Now, just like all the other tires we've run in this segment, we're going to run these things at 30 PSI front and rear. That's going to give us a great on-road and off-road feel of how these tires are going to perform. So as with all these tire tests, we're running ABS off, traction control off, and our tire pressure is set to 30 PSI cold. First thing I'm going to do is jump off over here into the rocks and get a preliminary scrub in. Whoa, yeah, buddy. Good. I like it. I like it a lot. A lot of the knobby tires that we run have a big problem here on this type of terrain. They just want to undulate the bar back and forth. And that usually happens right around 55 to 75 miles an hour. Right now, cruising at 70, we're not getting any wiggle up here in the front end. All right, down to the wash. We need to get a first takeoff here on this gravelly road. Good pickup there on that first takeoff. The back end did want to drift a little bit sideways. I mean, not uncommon, but I wasn't expecting that with the very square blocks that we have there in the rear. And the amount of speed that we're getting just twisting the throttle is pretty impressive. I'm digging it. Down into the wash we go. Whoa. Where that sidewind action's coming from. Definitely not as bad as the E07 Plus, but it's definitely still there. Look at how good that go is, man. I'm impressed with the forward momentum of these tires, for sure. Dialed in. Now from down there, this looked like a fun little route to kind of take on the way down to test overall downhill power stopping. Man, these feel good. There's a lot of tires that I would not have done that on, for sure. All right, now this is a hill, very deceiving. So it's rocks on top, but it's super powdery underneath. There's been several tires that I thought would just blast up there, but I've gotten sunk in the ground. So let's give this guy a shot. Dude, cake. That was awesome. And stopping. Half the distance of what some of the other tires are stopped at. I love this little road. It's called Old Waterman Canyon. We've had flooded creeks, we've had tar snakes, we've had landslides. There's been all kinds of things that we've run across on this road, and it kind of is indicative of a traditional backcountry road here in the USA that really doesn't get traveled very often. Let's get a little back end. but it's super controlled. And that's where some of these tires, it's really weird. Some tires are like, oh, and they're gone. Others are super controlled, like this tire. So I'm pushing this tire through this corner. I can feel the back end starting to drift just a little bit if I lay into the throttle quickly. But if I just ease into it, this tire has lots of stick to it. Again, it's only a 40% road tire, so you kind of have to expect that that's going to happen. Now I am super stoked at the stickiness of the tire and the fact that it feels really good, it's confidence inspiring, and it's very, very controlled. Alright, this is where we jump into the off-road section of our trip. We're on actual gravel roads. Now these gravel roads can change from chute to chute. So today it's looking like it's more of a hard pack underneath with more of a marble type rock on top. This is where a lot of the more street-oriented tires really suffered because they really weren't able to get a good grip. So far, in just a little bit that we've been on this trail, these tires do feel pretty good. I can make them back in if I wanted to back in, but if I grab throttle, they're doing a great job at shooting me forward. The next section of this trail here is going to be the rockiest section of the entire trip. These rocks right here are really large, and some of the 80/20 tires and even the 50/50s were extremely rough when traveling through this section of the trail. Like the Heidenau K60 Scout was just bouncing all over the top here, versus some of the other tires were a little bit more compliant and they felt good. Nice. I'm going to say that even though this is the Dakar version of the tire that has a more robust sidewall and tread configuration, it's feeling really good coming over the top of all of these rocks. Let's go ahead and hit it with some decent speed. This has been chewed up significantly since last time we were up here. But this tire does not care, it's just going forward with full force. Oh yeah, take a look at that. Wasn't really expecting these two big holes right here. Somebody has absolutely chewed this up with their four-wheeled vehicle. Come on, guy, come on, pick it up, pick it up. Second gear. Alright, now I'm going to come down here, blocking the brakes off just to see how grippy or sticky. Look at this front tire. I'm able to put full brake on and not have it wash out. That was a problem with some of the other tires that we had, was the fact that there wasn't enough knob, especially side knob, to keep it from washing out coming down this hill. So fully loaded, I definitely trust this tire to be able to walk me down just about anything. Now this is one of my favorite sections of this whole ride, is coming down this little area right here. Look how beautiful these mountains are. And dirt roads all through them. Sad part is, you gotta have a license plate in order to ride on them. Now this tire is handling this section. Now that's where you don't want to go, down there in that hole. I almost took these tires off the motorcycle yesterday, but I'm glad that I didn't, because it is right now raining outside. That's going to give us a chance to test these tires in wet weather. Alright, traction control is now off. That's going to be the little TC button that you see down there at the bottom. You guys hear that? You can probably see it in the rear cam as well. That rear tire is just free wheeling back there. So for the flat freeway with California rain grooves without twisties, I'm going to say that these tires are actually doing very, very well for a full knobby tire. Impressive. Alright, so here in a slight corner. Whoa! Woo. Back end comes around a little bit. So my synopsis of the E10 in wet weather is, if you're going to ride reasonably, then there's absolutely no problem with these tires. They perform quite well, actually. If you're going to be riding a little bit more aggressive, maybe you should choose a different tire for riding in the rain. Across the creek right here. Surprised at how much softer it is in the creek areas than it is up on top. I would have thought it would have been the opposite. So right now we're just cruising along in third gear. Tires are giving us all the traction that we need right here. It's great. So right here we have a clay base instead of a sand base. You can see the darker color of the earth instead of the more sandy color that we saw earlier. So take a look at the puddles down there. Those puddles are where the standing water is, which is the only mud that I know of in the local area. It's more like a clay type mud, just the top of this mountain right here. So we're gonna go down and play in that here in just a second. Okay, ready? Take a quick look. Look at that. Got perfect penetration into the mud. You can see the spots that are a little bit more soft and squishy than others. And right now, I'm doing the hill climb. Good. I don't think I've ever been down this section of the road after a big rain like that. Curious to see if these rocks are going to be stickier or if they're going to slide out easier because the ground underneath them is wet. Oh! Ooh, saved it. And that, my friends, is the beauty of adventure motorcycling. You're being able to go to the top of the mountain, go through mud, go through rivers, go through standing water. And then we're back on the pavement, cruising like a traditional street motorcycle. The versatility, I just love it. It's amazing. Looking at the front tire after putting some miles on it today, ooh, it's pretty warm. Anyway, you can see here on the corners, we've gone ahead and worn away these edges. So when we're in these corners, this tire is actually holding really hard to the road surface. It's doing a great job, but we are getting some worn edges here on the lean edges of the tire. If you take a look here at the center lugs, there's absolutely no wear on these tires here. Even with the hard braking off-road, we've completely left the center of this tire intact. So moving around to the back tire here, what are we finding? Well, we're finding a lot of very worn leading edges. This tire did phenomenal at hooking up. The tread compound on this tire is very soft. It sticks really well to the asphalt, but as you can see, we are melting this tire away. Another factor of this tire is it's a lot flatter than a lot of the other tires we've been running in this segment. Now, we weren't able to get all the way over to the edge here at the end of the day, but you can see that we're leaning over quite a bit. Now we're getting all of these side lugs pretty worn and shaved down there on the sides. Well, that about sums up the testing of this Mitas E-10 Dakar tire. If you've got any questions, leave a comment below. If you like what you saw today, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want more action like this coming directly to your inbox, please hit the subscribe button and, more importantly, the notification bell. Until next time, and as always, take care and ride safe out there.